Now we are talking. Chat. Ooh. Ooh. Twitch works. Kick. I worry a little bit about Kick because it was. Okay. We could. But what about YouTube? YouTube is kinda sketchy. Because I linked a new YouTube channel. I mean, new. The one that I was using as a secondary. Yes, it works. But manage. Yes, manage this one. Why am I? All right. So it defaults. That's interesting. I don't have that much like experience with stuff on YouTube in regards to streaming because it works slightly differently than here on Twitch and Kick. Because you can have thumbnails. But why is my thumbnail? Can I change the thumbnail? I mean, maybe. Edit. Boom. Save. All right, baby. This seems to work somehow. But I cannot find, for God's sake, like anything related to the thumbnail. For some reason, the thumbnail is my. Look at it. The thumbnail is my banner. Yo, am I being delulu? Maybe. I will figure it out later. Let me play some music in the background. Oh, yeah, you don't see shit. That that's how it should be right now. Wait a minute, baby. I was listening to some rap. Hundreds. Yeah, baby. Let me have some chill here. Chat. Long time no see. 2 weeks, roughly. Yeah, happens. Happens. When life gives you lemons, or what do they say? Happens. Set up all the monitoring. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. It's interesting that my streaming. Wait! I almost stopped the streaming. My former self, alright, was so clever to put this button at a press and hold for at least like 5 seconds to end the stream. Jesus, otherwise it would have been a disaster now. Maybe. Now, it's interesting because I set up my bot from Stream Elements to work on Twitch and Kick and YouTube, and it only works on Twitch for some reason. Anyway, I'm gonna have to figure this out. It's just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's just interesting. But anyway, chat. How are you? If there is even anyone in the chat right now. I've had plenty of VODs to go through, so I wasn't really like streaming at all. I was like, yeah, let me first like edit everything because I have to do everything on my own. Aside from also having to work and stuff. And so, yeah. I was clearing my vase first, so some of you may have noticed that stuff have been going on my YouTube, and that's fine. That's good. But I ran out of content. I was like, yeah, I need to, see you guys live at least for a bit. And I was thinking that we can go actually through Reddit for a first time on here. And mind you, I've never ever used Reddit in any extensive way whatsoever. So what I've been doing is like, okay, occasionally you Google something and you put Reddit there because like people on Reddit have conversations, so you can actually find something. But I was never really like a true Reddit user, and I found out after I created my account like 2 days ago that you can actually nicely curate your like custom feeds, which is interesting, right? Last time it was like 2 weeks ago that we tried actually browsing through some Twitter, and that is pretty goddamn infested. Just look at this. Hopefully I don't find anything breaking TOS. Last time, what the crazy declassified 1966 footage of an unidentified friendly octopus. Yo, what is up with... That's what I'm talking about. Like, dude, this is the most random feed ever. What the This will never not be the most bizarro mother-son pic ever seen. What am I even looking at? That's what I'm... Alright, bro. Alright, bro. So I was... Alright. We are getting into a fucking... Oh, nah. I almost broke the TOS, dude. Jesus. And look at Reddit. Look at it. Day and night. Day and night. Where's the music? Day and night. Is the... Day and night. What the Great leader. Manifesto the We have a communist here. Day and night. Yeah. So this is basically a Twitter versus Reddit for me these days. So I Christopher Columbus, dude. I rediscovered America. So we might actually go through this, but I found also something super interesting that I want to show you guys. Apart from this, oh, fractals. All right. Cool. That's nice. That's bizarre, though. I've never seen a fractal like this. What? How did he generate that one? Okay, this is the most I can zoom in. No. Chat, I have an... Okay, another thing that I was playing with over the week is this. Look. Okay. What should I do? Like this? A smiley face? Okay, that's kinda... Smiley face? Eh? Look! Look! Chat! We can draw. basically. So I found this open source drawing tool, and we can play with that. I think. Fuck, forgot the controls. And in the background, bang round. Yo, what? Yo, what is bruh? Okay, I might, dude, the zooming wasn't working for a bit. So yeah, we will go through Reddit for a bit. And then we can try to play Apex. Because there is supposedly a big ass update. And they brought back the old school Kings Canyon. So that might be actually pretty interesting to look at. Just to play for a bit, for a chill. Then we'll see. Yo, what's this? I'd bruv. Bruv. So, what's up here? Ugly man. Jinxie? Alright. Huh? That's a man? Okay. Who am I to judge? Now, yo. Apple II nuclear test. 29 kilotons. 150 meter tower. Nevada test site. 5:10 a.m. May 5th, 1955. Yo, that is wild. Like, imagine back then, dudes were like, you know, we got this bomb. Let me just blow it up. And this is what they were doing. Pretty illegal these days, but back then people were like, try it. Try it, baby. Wild experiments that were happening. Like, there were plenty of, like, make bomb tests. Supposedly, okay, there's an AI mode here. Detonation used to validate nuclear technology, resulting in over 2,050 tests by major powers. That's a lot of bombings, dude, happening. But, like, look at it. It's terrifying as hell. But at the same time, it looks kind of beautiful. I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, looks like a squid a little bit. It's just beautiful physics, but yeah. Look at it. It's crazy that something like this even works. And that they made it work back then. With all that precision that had to be, like, taken care of in terms of, like, especially the manufacturing. That's the engineering part of things is more complicated than the science itself of the nuclear fission. Anyway, that's just wild. Oh, crazy map. People who never accessed the internet in 2021. Percentage of individuals. 21 to 32% in Greece? And in parts of Turkey? Yo, what do you mean? And also 16 to 21% in Portugal. Yo, people living in caves there. The most like internet heavy people are the Nordics, together with England and Ireland, and Switzerland is also pretty heavy there. Dude. What's so special about this part? It might be statistically kind of flawed. I don't know. Prague. Yo. But the Nordics, that makes sense, right? Like, you're just like, everything is colder than everywhere else. You in certain parts of the year, you just get too much light. Then you get too little of light. It's just like, yeah, you will spend most of the time on internet. That's just interesting. Huh? The most annoying thing in the Hearts of Iron. What is that even? Manifesto do Partido Comunista. Manifesto do Partido Comunista. Manifesto do Partido. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Do Partido Comunista. That's crazy that you have a person like... Ew. That's how Karl Marx started. What's happening with my phone here? Crazy. It's over. My Trump phone didn't come. It's so funny to actually go through like the series of videos from Charlie, just, collecting the whole timeline of him trying to get the Trump phone and like communicating with them back and forth. It's so funny. Like, it should be made like a TV series about Charlie just and Trump phone. I don't know. Sad Florida man. Just fucking balls. All right. Balls. Super. New JWST image shows the heart of Galaxy M77. You see this pattern here that you can see on stars, and even like bright centers of like point sources of light, or almost point sources of light. If you can look at that from different telescopes, you can distinguish whether it was taken by James Webb Telescope, the JWST, or the Hubble Space Telescope. And it is because of these light leaks, or, these bands of light. Because when you look at Hubble Space Telescope images, you can see it's just X. It's just cross. And this is JWTS. WST, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, and it's done. Like, the reason behind that is that you have the mirrors, right? So if I go to JWST, look, the mirrors and its hexagonal arrangements, right? Boom. If you look at the Hubble Space Telescope, not images, but just the telescope itself, can you see the mirror? It's about the construction of the mirror, basically. Maybe you can just Google mirror. Yeah, show me. Yeah, look at it. It's made out of... wait a second. Apex is downloaded. Can we... It's just a single... Is it a single one? I think it is. Mirror. Am I... yeah. I didn't want to do Control D. Dude. Control F. Mirror. Mirror. Find. Hubble features 2.4 meters mirror, and its 5 main instruments observe in the ultraviolet, visible, near-infrared regions, and the electromagnetic spectrum. Of the electromagnetic spectrum. But where is the mirror construction? Do you have a boom grinding of Hubble's primary mirror? Grinded, baby. That is just insane, dude. Grinding of Hubble's primary mirror. Look at it. The backup mirror, its inner support structure can be seen because it is not coated with a reflective surface. Hubble Space Telescope backup mirror. That's just... And I think these patterns are exactly what you can see on their images. You see? These X's here. Can we zoom in? Dude. Big. I need big images. Dude. Withdraw consent. Can you... No, I don't want your newsletters. And I don't want to pay for that. Telescope NASA. NASA? Show me some... no. Do they have images somewhere? Boom. Latest galleries. Boom. In every single image from Hubble, you can just see these X's. From every single small, like, almost point source light. Whereas, yeah, the JWST, you always see this pattern. Images. You see? 4 of those. I mean, 6 star, basically. On every. It's just beautiful piece of technology. I mean, the time that it took for them to construct any of those is just insane. What was the time? Construction of JWST. planning began in the mid-90s, but actual physical construction of the telescope's components began around 2004, with assembly completed in 2016. That was the final construction. So 12 years until that completion. Environmental, thermal, and vibrational testing occurred. And launch date 2021. So from planning in the mid-90s, 1996, initial design studies, till 2021. So basically 25 years of work went into a telescope that looks like this. Boom. Just like this. Look. That's beautiful. Intricate. Hard to carve. And each of the mirrors is just, they are huge. JWST mirror size. 6.5 meters in diameter. Primary mirror. hexagonal segments, each 1.32 meters in diameter. That's just insane, dude. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, dude. Anything cool? Yeah, we've seen the fractal curve. And now we can use this. Flex. Flex on him. Cool. Cool, brother. Cool, brother. Cool. Okay, how do I delete that? Yeah, we know. All right, we know. Okay, let me... Dude, what is up with my thingy? Let me sit. Because my legs start hurting, dude. Oh, no. I missed the streaming, dude. I missed it so much, but I was so much in, like, hurry and stress and, you know, dealing with things at work, you know, doing science and stuff. It's just, dude, it's... Sometimes it's really hard, to be honest. Especially on the psyche. It's not like... Of course, the things that I'm doing is just... It's hard, right? But I'm trained for this, so it's not like impossible for me or anything like that. But like, I sometimes struggle with like managing my stress and managing like my schedule and what I do, you know, in my life in general. And so then I tend to overwork. At some point, maybe some of you might remember that, you know, I've been streaming for like, I don't know, 4 times a week or something like that. And I usually did it like until very late at night. So I started at around like 9 p.m. of my time, Central European time. And then I went until like 1 in the morning. Then even after that, like I had to wind down a little bit, but that was kind of hard at that point, you know? And I had to then eat the dinner and do everything around that. I was like, okay, I mean, it was manageable for like a month, but then it got freaking hard. Just like as I go, you know, during like typical work days, you know, into my office, and I spent there like 9 to 5 basically, solving scientific problems, writing, doing all kinds of things, discussing stuff with other people from the field. It's demanding as hell. And then I came back home and I immediately started thinking like, okay, I need to stream, I need to do this, I need to edit videos, I need to do that. Because I love that, but I want to do that, But then I overworked and I basically, even now I'm sort of like wired, and it's not that easy. So yeah, that's why I had to take at least like, I have to take it easy now. From time to time I have to sort of step back and, rethink things. And that's why I just had like accumulated VODs, so I edited through that, got at least some shorts for you. But yeah, that's it basically. So why am I even yapping about this? I don't know. I don't know. Wait a second. I'm gonna check something while we're at it. Before we move on, I want to... Can I see anything about that live stream on YouTube? I mean, this is the first time I'm streaming properly on YouTube and taking care of the details. Before, when I tried it, right, there was like I mean, I think it works. It's not the quality is kind of shit, dude. I don't know. I'll have to reconsider some of the settings that I did. Because I'm using the same settings as for Twitch and Kick and stuff, and it still does kind of crap there. I don't know, baby. Kind of chill music. Anyway, do we continue in Redditing a little bit? I think we can, because then I have Apex is already downloaded. That's cool. So we can test it out afterwards. Because I'm super interested in what the new update has brought. Because supposedly there is a new character. They brought back the old map. The very first map, supposedly. I don't know. That's what my brother said. So I want to check it out. And we will see. So we can chill out with that one for a bit. But we can... One? What gloves should I get with this Karambit? I don't know, dude. Make vaccine for hantavirus. Make no mistake. People be like this these days. Like, yeah, dude, solve all my issues. Please be fast and no mistakes. Yeah, that's what people think that it does. But it turns out times and times again that this is not the case, my friend. So chill out. Chill out a little bit. You killed my father. Look, the DOW is over 50K. Alright. Metherorn. Anti-Metherorn. Alright, bro. Okay. What have I just witnessed? Bro, spawn on this island surrounded by a mushroom ring exactly at 0, 0. That is possible? Yo, don't tell me that this is possible. That's the nicest seed. Yo, this makes me want to play Minecraft, Loki. Yo, imagine having a house here. I always loved the Mushroom Island, and I remember the old times where this biome was so rare that you couldn't even like find it properly. And when you found it, like everybody was like popping champagne, like, pooh, baby, I'm having my richest day of my life. I'm lucky. And then you wanted to settle there or somewhere around, you know, that was like a little mystery there. But these days it feels like it's more common. Especially like last time, like that was at the end of the COVID, I think. And me and my friends from our bachelors, we started studying physics, and we were like, yeah, let us, you know, start a Minecraft server. So we started playing that, and I was just wandering around, you know, just, you know, on a boat in the middle of the ocean, and I found one of these, like a reasonably small, like maybe this size, like this size of the boom of the island, boom. Boom. You know, I'm enjoying this too much, dude. I need to use it more because you know me. Maybe you don't, but I enjoyed this. So yeah. Anyway, so about this size, you know, and it was in the middle of nowhere, and only like maybe on each side you had like some of this, and same would be on like this side, and maybe somewhere there, you know, but it was in the middle, like maybe something like this, yeah, something like this, like this, like this, you know, like that was the mushroom, like there was a mushroom like this, boom, mushroom, mushroom 1, mushroom 2, mushroom 3, and so on. Uh-huh. And then this was just a normal land, like boom, 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 like a normal land type shit. Like this was all normal land. And this distance, like here, was big. All right. And it was like, I was living here. Like what I would do was just like, okay, I build a house here, boom, boom, and I lived there, like home, home. And everybody else from my friends, you know, they were living on the mainland, somewhere like far away, like this type shit. Like friends were here, friends, boom. They're like living here, you know, or somewhere even like there, boom. Like one was there, one was there, boom. They're like living all across, and I was like, yeah, I'm a mushroom man, and I was living on that island. But it was even at that point, like it became kind of common, you know, and I realized, okay, these mushrooms are not so rare as they were before. So I was kind of surprised, pleasantly, but still. Anyway, that's a cool seed. Do you have the seed name? Java and Bedrock. Very unique. Thanks for sharing. That's a cool seed. Yo, but the fact that you just spawn there is insane. And it also looks cool. That's nice. W seed. Some pictures of the moon I took with a 10mm lens. Okay, that's all of them are really similar, so you should have posted just one. That's cool. A blue halo around it? Why? Is that some artifact of the camera or the lens itself? Am I the only one who sees this blue hue? Let me zoom in. Oh, thank you. We just zoomed in the buttons. That's it. Yo, that's just fix it. Reddit, fix it. Drone enters the beast inside a live tornado. Whoa, 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 whoa. AI or no? Do we have a sound? Yo. That's nice. I was low-key expecting like a jump scare in the middle. I know, like one of the joke videos and stuff. Beer consumption per capita in Europe relative to the rest of Europe. Extremely high. Outlier. like an actual outlier here. Look at us, baby. Look at it. Beerland. Beerland. Germany, Poland, Austria, Romania, Croatia, Slovenia, Spain, and Ireland are behind us immediately. And Belgium. Lithuania also. That's interesting. I wouldn't expect Lithuania to be on the list here. Russia is pretty high too. More than France. Interesting. But I would expect the UK to actually be like higher than that. I mean, why not? Question mark? Why not, baby? But here, dude, that's what you need. All you need is a cup of beer. A pint of beer. I don't know. Anything made of beer. I would drink some beer. I should have brought some beer for the stream, dude. I was even thinking about it. I went to the supermarket to get some something for dinner, and I decided, oh yeah, let me do some avocado toasts, with some eggs. And so I bought everything, and I was like, yeah, should I take a beer? And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna drink on stream, dude. But now, dude, you're triggering my genes now. What the? Shut up with this music, dude. 3 blue, 1 brown. I hope that's not really copyrighted. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Europa. 1444. 1444. Praga. That's our center here. All right. Boom. But it's pretty scattered. Look at it. Czechia was low-key kind of big back then. That's cool. So we owned... All right. I remember learning this when I was in school, but I forgot a bunch of these things. I didn't like. I mean, I enjoy maps these days for fun, but I didn't enjoy like learning the way history is taught, or how are you how you are as a student like forced to like learn all of these things, like memorize and don't do anything like proper thinking, right? And so yeah. So I remember this shape. It's like a little heart. It's like poo. That's nice. That's nice. And the currently we have this, right? That's what we have right now. Kinda. Nice drawing of my homeland. Now, the thing is that this part, that's currently Poland. We owned it with Wrocław. That's cool. That is indeed cool. Now, but this is scattered as hell. I don't remember like learning about that much like scattered land, and it makes sense, right? Like you had some local more like back then considered barbaric countries or regions. But that's cool. Yo, look at this tiny one. Dresden? So that's Dresden, all right? So Dresden, I've been there recently. Yo, no, dude. Oh, the keybinds. I wanted to bind it on the mouse, like here somewhere, like on these buttons. Boom, boom, boom. But it didn't let me. The app is kind of fucked in that. I mean, it's perfect. Apart from this, I cannot use my mouse for this. I mean, of course, for the clicking and going around, like, nice, but not for not for anything else. Ew. The Spain was pretty. Or the Portugal, even back then, was pretty much untouched from what it is now. That's cool. Okay. Unexplored, probably. Saint Just, thank you for the follow and welcome to the chat. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's cool. I don't, as I've said, I don't remember them being so scattered, you know? Oh, dude. Don't show guns on my stream. All right? I know it's airsoft. But all right. CPU of the all right. USSR versus smartphone. And this one is some, what is it? Probably some Apple, right? CPU of the USSR, none. The CPU of the phone is A11 Bionic chip at 2100 megahertz. Amazing, bro. Tons of steel, 0, versus 140 million a year. Price, free. I mean, can you really buy USSR? I mean, not anymore, right? But gulags, yes. All right, I don't know if that should be a positive here. The phone has none. That's good. Food sometimes. Sometimes, dude, that's wild. I mean, it's true. It's funny because it's true. The phone has no food. And the size is way bigger. I mean, 5.8 inches? That's magnificent, right? That's just big. Communism, yes. Why is it green? Like, is it positive, dude? All right, baby. All right. Nice comparison. I have a science hashtag. Hell yeah. Are you into any specific science stuff? Dude, I'm into any science. I'm personally, you can maybe, I think I wrote it down there, that I have a background in physics and math. So yeah, I am a PhD student in theoretical physics. I mean, mostly like theoretical slash computational physics, and doing more of like statistical physics in general. So yes, mainly physics and math. That's my field. But I'm interested in any science, basically. Though I usually don't have that much knowledge, like in terms of like actual raw knowledge that I could have uh, in that field, in terms of like memorizing stuff. But I am fairly adaptive, so I like to learn new things and stuff, and not take it too seriously. So that's a part of things that you might find on this channel here, and also on my YouTube. Yeah. So if you're interested in any of that, you're more than welcome to join here. And hopefully we get some good vibes here. Math plus physics is an interesting combo, I'd say. So are you interested in any science? Because you found me from the science hashtag, so you must have searched for it for some reason. Yeah, it's an interesting combo. I always loved things like that, especially math, and then I got into physics more because it's more applicable. It's not so abstract, but now I'm sort of cruising somewhere in between being a statistical physicist. So yeah, that's where I landed so far. We'll see about the future. Guess which big guy is this? Show me. Mont Blanc? That's not Everest, right? Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc. Isn't it? No. No. That's not Mont Blanc. I'm slowed. I'm restarted. What is that? Isn't that somewhere? Oh, I know what it is. Isn't that one of the? It's in the Himalayas, not Mount Everest. All right. The sacred one, that one that China was taking over, right? Quite recently, isn't it? Himalaya, say, sacred mountain. That's more pyramidal, right? They probably have more of those. That looks like it, right? No. What is it? Tell me. Comments. Mailbox peak after a fresh snowball. Eh? What? Mountain. There is a thing such as mailbox peak. That doesn't look like it, dude. It's more foresty. Actually, I just discovered your science hashtag without looking for it. But yes, I like tech, philosophy, science in general. That's awesome, dude. Then you're at the right place. I don't do I don't do only this. I also do some gaming from time to time. But I usually try to do, these days, I usually try to do some commentary and some general stuff on the internet. But even some sciencey thingies. Random math question. You say math is invented or discovered. Yo, that one is... Dude. Alright. My point of view is this. The universe operates on mathematics. Right? That's the foundation of some sort. But the thing is that I view math as a body of logic and rules and all the notation that we use these days here on Earth as humans. I view that as one possible language to describe the universe. So if I were to, let's say, meet an alien, I would expect them to find similar rules, but described from a completely different point of view. I would be very surprised if we found out about some alien civilization, and that alien civilization would have exactly the same mathematics. At that point, you would be like, all right. It's discovering, right? How likely are you to meet some random, completely separate civilization that came to the exact same formulation of mathematical rules as we did, right? So that would sort of settle things down, but I would personally expect different, mathematical systems and approaches to lead to like similar conclusions, but be like separate mathematical bodies on its own. That's what I would expect, right? So sort of a language type shit. But so in that sense, it's basically invented in a form that we have it, right? And there is also a thing called the Gödel's or Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Incompleteness theorem, which states that that any consistent formal system capable of arithmetic cannot be both complete and consistent. It proves that there are true statements about numbers that cannot be proven within that system. It basically states, if you dig deep enough, it basically states that the mathematics that we have here on Earth, as discovered or invented by humans, that this mathematical body is basically incomplete. All right? And you can never prove completely everything within that framework. You're just limited by the postulates, the standard, like... You think we will find a theory of everything in our lifetime? In our lifetime, definitely no. Because our lifetime is very limited compared to what the lifetime of the universe is. So I wouldn't say that. But I would even doubt that there is a theory that could be describing everything exactly, precisely, without uncertainties, etc., etc. Since I'm a big StatMech guy, I tend to think in those lines, along those lines, right? And so I even doubt that there is a unified theory of everything that would be fully complete. As you can see, even from the Gödel's incompleteness theorems, about math. So maybe there are even other theorems that could be discovered about the math that we have right now that, would state, okay, there's even more things that cannot be said. You say math is a universal language. Well, not necessarily a universal language. The math that we have here would be basically one of the possible languages describing the body of some higher mathematics that actually works in behind of the whole universe, right? That's what I would expect. And reality fundamentally mathematical? I don't know. That's kind of a long shot, don't you think? Yeah, like you're mentioning maybe node base 10. Exactly. That's one of the minor things that you can change, and the whole math can just, be reinvented in different terms. Gödel Escherbach. That's cool. I've started reading that book like when I was in high school. But then I sort of stopped and I focused on different things, but I still have it here on the bookshelf. Here. I still have it there. So I'm still looking forward to reading that. Anyway, that doesn't look like Mailbox Peak, dude. Maybe from one side? Maybe from one side it's actually more foresty than on the other. Maybe. Maybe, baby. But this has no trees on the bottom in the valley. You're fooling me. You are fooling me. Isn't it Everest? It is? Is it? Yeah. It is. So I was right about the Himalayas, but I was doubting the Mount Everest. I was expecting the... which one is that? Not the mailbox. Not this one. Sacred Mountain. Because they have some almost pyramidal peaks there. Very inaccessible. And relatively recently, China has basically taken over of these parts and forced the people who were like living there around and taking like basically religious paths. They were doing this thing, all right? Wait a second. They were... Get up! Good. They were doing this thing, right? They were just like walking up, boom, and then they laid down for a few seconds, and then they continued. So imagine, all right? You walk. Oh, hell yeah. Now I lay down like this. Ah! And I wake up. And I continue. And I lay down. And I wake up. And I go. And stuff like this. All right. This is what the monks were doing there. I'm not kidding. And they were taking this route from the bottom to the very peak of the mountain. And sometimes, like on similar trails like this, dude, why is it so shitty? On similar routes like this, boom, 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 then it got even more rocky. So maybe even on sides like this. Yeah, the most dangerous and sacred mountains on Earth. So people, I mean, this looks like some AI generated crap, no? Never mind. They were just doing that. They just walked, laid down, then they got up, walked a little bit, and all the way to the peak, basically. And that's just crazy. And so the whole journey took like, I don't know, weeks and weeks and weeks for them. So maybe even like month or two until they actually got to the very top of the mountain. And they were doing it for religious purposes, and China just went in and they were like, you know what? We're shutting this shit down. And they just prevent them from doing their, religious rituals that are harmless, to anyone. And they're just like terrorizing them there. So I thought it was one of those, because it looked similar, but. Including some laws, numbers. Wow, this theorem. Yeah, that's what I would expect. That you would find very similar stuff expressed differently, and maybe that expression that they have, would lead to different parts of math that would be hardly accessible from our perspective, for example. Or maybe some things that they might have as the alien civilization, I would expect like that type of notation and different perspective, like different coordinate system, to be describing the reality in such a way that things that for us might be, insolvable, for them would be like, okay, we can solve this, but we cannot solve what you have, for example, in this part of the math or whatever. That's what I would expect. Like, for example, like, or not that it would be like maybe some universally analytically non-solvable things would still stay analytically not solvable, but some things might get wildly easier, for example. That's what I would expect. Like when you're trying to solve a mathematical problem or some physics problem, and you need to change the coordinate system, or not, you don't need to, but if you do change the coordinate system from, for example, the Cartesian XYZ to the spherical, so you have the the r, the radius, and both the angles. Now everything, because of the spherical symmetry, just gets suddenly so easy that you can solve it like this. So I would expect something higher than just a coordinate system, but I would say that, yeah, that would be like, for me, the mathematical expression or the mathematical understanding that we as humans have. And that would be different for different civilizations. That's just my guess, but that's what I imagine. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm correct. Who knows? I thought it was a cat. Look at it. Am I dumb? Like this, I thought it was a eye, ear, and a head. All right, bro. All right, I'm tripping, bro. Oh my god. That looks exciting, but always when like, it's scary, right? Look, I used to like watched some videos of like, I think it was mostly Russian guys, like pretty crazy guys that just like went onto one of these towers and just, look at me, I'm just dangling my feet here above the ground, like fucking hundreds of meters. I was like, even watching that, my palms were just so sweaty every single time. Dude, just by watching it. Oh my god. Blender render. The map is not the territory, or the menu is not the meal. That's good. I like it. According to mathematics, it would mean our notation is describing reality very precise. It would mean our notation is describing reality very precise without being reality itself. However, if reality is not mathematical in nature, why would math map it so accurately and easily? All right. Not everything in math is actually analytically tractable. And a lot of things in physics are not directly measurable. Right? It's crazy to think about that, but even quantum mechanics is showing us that a lot of things are not directly observable. And the observables are usually some averages or collapsed wave functions and stuff, not the reality that was happening before the measurement itself. And a lot of things, even from today's perspective of very precise measurements, are inaccessible to us. And even from the what's it called? Dude, Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Even from the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, you can see that not everything can be known at the same time. If you measure the position, you will, by the measurement, disrupt the system's momentum and vice versa. And so a lot of things in reality, when you try to measure it, when you try to actually quantify it by the mathematical tools to describe that based on the data that you observe, you find out that all the data and everything is just permeated with this uncertainty. This huge uncertainty that everything has. I mean, not necessarily huge, but like when you measure, let's say, a position, your uncertainty shrinks around a certain position, but around the momentum of the system, it just widens. So you just lost the information by interacting with that system. So a lot of things, even though the mathematics sort of, describes it precisely, it doesn't necessarily give you like a single answer when you enter the real world. You have to consider plenty of possibilities that might happen. And that's why we have statistics for various very complicated systems, that you want to describe, right? Even, not even necessarily the quantum mechanical things, but even like classical stuff. A lot of the times you just need statistics, and there are different kinds of statistical points of views, and I usually work within the Bayesian statistics, which I deem to be more honest and more, descriptive of the reality. Because the opposite, the traditional statistics, the frequentist point of view, works only if you have works precisely only if you have infinite amount of data, infinite amount of observations, right? And so at that time you're like, all right, I mean, I will never have that. So that's kind of a bullshit. And also, it can be shown that taking the Bayesian statistics point of view, you basically can discover that the frequentist point of view can be deduced if you take your prior distribution to be flat. Because Bayesian statistics allows you one specific thing, and that is to update your prior beliefs. So let's say you, like always, you have at least some kind of a idea of what's happening, right? Like you can be like, okay, if a distance, if I'm measuring a distance between two objects, that distance cannot be negative, right? So you can immediately rule out negative values for that, for example. All right? And these kinds of very like minor details can be embedded into Bayesian statistical frameworks in the form of a prior distribution or your prior belief. It has a form of some mathematical distribution, right? And that one can harbor your beliefs about the system, your logic about the universe and its workings, or some physical laws, right? So you can limit, for example, okay, if the distance shrinks below Heisenberg uncertainty principle, Heisenberg, what is no Planck's length, basically Planck's constant, then it doesn't have physical meaning and stuff like that. You can take in a lot of information like this, or even let's say you had a measurement in the past and you want to like, okay, I have that at my disposal. Why would I leave it on a shelf while doing this new experiment? I can use it for my prior knowledge, and feed it into the statistical machine instead of using just a flat zero knowledge, which usually the standard statistical framework does, right? So it can be shown that yeah, the traditional statistics that you see everywhere promoted like hell because it's simpler to understand at first glance, right? And it's taught everywhere. It can be shown that that is just a reduction of the Bayesian point of view, just lazily saying, I don't know anything about the system, and that I find it lazy and I find it unnecessary because I find it kind of dumb, to be honest, because you already have so many things at your disposal, even from your own logical perspectives, not necessarily data. Or okay, you can think of it as data too, right? So yeah, don't get me started on things like this, dude. We will not move anyway. Oh my god. This is what happens. This is what happens, dude. Map porn. Observable universe map in logarithmic scale. Oh, I love this picture so goddamn much. This is so nice. Crazy shit. It just shows the observable universe, but I think because of the logarithmic scale that a lot of people cannot really read, you lose a lot of people on a thing that like, okay, what the fuck is this, and like describe to them that these are, parts in the universe that are far away, not only by distance, but also by time because of what we observe. And that it gets just denser because of the logarithmic scale, right? But it's just, I like it. As a physicist, I like it. I approve. That's cool. I remember seeing images like this when I was like 12 and I was like, oh my god, I want to understand these things so bad. Of course I knew that it was a um, observable universe shown in single picture with adjusted logarithmic axes, but yeah. I made a live glitch website with stackable effects and shareable percent links. Thanks, dude. Thank you. Is this what I think it is? Millennium Falcon? No. No. Yo. Magnus! The GOAT! The GOAT! And Atrioc was with Carls Magnusson? Magnus Carlsen? Okay. Carolus Magnusson, bro. Yes. Polymarket. Dude, Polymarket is a big hype, right? But I've never... Oh my god, it's such a scam, dude. Researchers are exploring new methods for creating stronger concrete from plant waste nanocellulose. Plant-based buildings, imagine. Show me. Louisiana State University. Concrete sample reinforced with nanocellulose. Environmental trade-offs of stronger concrete. Trade-off between improved compressive strength of nanocellulose reinforced concrete and its associated environmental impact. Unfortunately, nanocellulose is often produced using a chemical process that galvanizes I'm butchering their name, dude. And colleagues found harms the ozone layer. Vital region of Earth's stratosphere absorbs the most sun's harmful ultraviolet. Just use sunscreen, dude. No? No. Mombuji. That's cool. I would love to visit Japan, dude. That'd be so nice. That would be buffin'. Yeah, a good theory must be falsifiable, and you must be able to do experiments. And they have to be repeatable. But since you cannot measure everything, maybe we need another approach sometimes. I mean, that's the thing. Like, a lot of the theories of today, including like string theory, they operate beyond the Planck scale. You know? And those are the unifying theory. Those are the theories that try to unify. They're trying to unify the theories into a single framework. And those are the theories that tend to work mathematically. They make a lot of things work, but they face other challenges, even in a theoretical formulations. But most importantly, they have no predictions. Maybe they have some really vague predictions, right? Like M theory, exactly. Very hard to understand and very high math. Yes, the M theory is the theory, or that's basically a collection of theories. The M theory is a theory that encompasses a lot of the string theories that we have, or all of them, basically. M theory, right? Version that unifies all consistent versions of superstring theory. But it's so pure math, almost, that it's like, that's so weird. It's such an exotic math, basically, but it cannot be, like, it doesn't have any predictions. Attempts to connect M theory to experiments typically focus on compactifying its extra dimensions to construct candidate models of the four-dimensional world, although so far none have been verified to give rise to physics as observed in high-energy physics experiment. Fast boy, yo, thanks for the follow and welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Low cortisol? I don't know. Maybe like on the surface, but sometimes, sometimes we have cortisol. Sometimes it's needed. Sometimes it's lurking around and you have to face it. And so on. Himalaya. Whoa! Will you be my darling today? No. So what am I doing? Broski, we browsing Reddit today and yapping a little bit about science. And soon we'll hop on Apex Legends. I want to see what Apex is about these days. I used to play it a lot. And my brother told me that they have like a big update today. So I want to just check it out and vibe there a little bit. But so far we vibing on Reddit. I've never used Reddit in my life properly. All right. I just like, okay, you just Google something, right? That's what you do. You just Google something. You place Reddit at the back of your prompt of your search. And that's what I used it for. But I never used like an account, and I like yesterday I created an account, and I'm like, let me check it out. What the fuck was that, bro? What in the AI generated slop is that? Yo, CS One Pixel. Natural borders of Romania. Thanks. Minecraft. Whoa, Dudski. He doing some. Good job, dude. Looks cool. Kinda. I don't know. Mid. How can one achieve this level of physics knowledge? Yeah, these diagrams, space-time diagrams, are crazy. Trajectory in the extended Kerr spacetime of a null geodesic with this and that parameter emitted from a point A in the outer ergo regions. Yeah. So this is a spacetime. One dimension represents a space, the other one represents time. And then usually this is what's used to describe black holes. I suppose that this one will... That's the center here. It's been some time since I've viewed one of these, dude. Connect two domains via Fourier transform. It's like this. Yeah, I know, dude. Yeah. That's cool. If you connect two domains via Fourier transform, Fourier mathematics tells us that any signal exists in two domains that are inverse mirror. Yeah. That's basically behind the uncertainty principle. Also, you can view it from the Fourier transform. That is true. Spatial domain position, where wave is in space, and frequency domain momentum. What the wave is doing is with length velocity trade-off Fourier analysis. There is a strict rule. The more you define a wave in domain, the more it smears out in the other. Exactly. If you look at these from the Fourier transform perspective, it's more visible. Yes. You have these two. Position space, momentum space. And yeah, they have to match, right? When you take this one and plug it in, right? Let's say you know more of this one, the position one. Let's say you measure more of the position and you have more certainty in there. You plug it in here, then in the frequency, in the frequency domain, it will be smeared out. So that's the uncertainty principle for you in Fourier transform. It looks complicated, and I mean, yeah, the math is looking scary, but it's not that hard in the end. It's pretty cool. And it's typically one of the things that people struggle with when they begin anything in Fourier analysis in physics, right? I struggled with it when I saw that for the first time. I was like, "What the actual fuck is that?" You know, because nobody really tells you anything about that until you enter some higher level math classes. And usually the physicists tend to like say, "Oh, yeah, it's the Fourier transform. Everybody knows that, all right?" And then we were like, Dudesky. We never saw that ever in our life. But once you take the Fourier analysis math course, it makes more sense. Anyway, 9,400 in-game days. Bro, why are all of these in such a low quality? Reddit, man up. All right, I think I had enough of this for now. Let me just check the... What's it called? Apex, no? Do we check it right now? Oh, I even wanted to show you something else, dude. Look at this. Look at this, chat. Oh my god. Artemis made plenty of photos. All right, plenty of photos. And there was a dude who just came to the NASA webpage where they released every single photo that they've taken over the whole course of the Artemis mission, right? And he was like, "You know what? Let me just make a little GIF, little video." And he collected more than 12,000 images of the Earth. All right. And he basically centered the Earth as much as possible, aligned, you know, like the whole images. He just basically took 12,000 plus images, aligned them such that the Earth was roughly in a center, right? That's what he did. And he didn't know what was going to happen. He was like, okay, I'm just going to see like how the Artemis moved through space, right? I'm going to just see that, right? Guess again. Look. What can you see? Earth has fleas? Oh no. The Earth has fleas, dude. What is this? What is that, dude? Oh, I stopped it. No. This. Focus on this region, chat. All right? Focus. Look. Earth has fleas. Is that aliens? What is that? Same here in this region. You see? That is satellites, dude. This is such a great video. It just shows the whole time lapse of them like moving. I think the whole thing is basically like 3 minutes. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in this? Basically, if you were to time. Does anyone? How much time elapsed? About 3 minutes. Yep. Roughly 3 minutes elapsed before or in between all of those photos. And you can see this. Look. I mean, and you can also see thunderstorm. Look here. And moving aurora. Moving aurora. Boom. Like this. Thunder. Beautiful. And at the same time, you can see satellites moving at different speeds, different orbits, different directions. And you know, somebody might ask, like, why don't we see it on, every side of the edge of the earth here? Like, why don't we see it everywhere else? Well, they are there, but they need to reflect some light. And the light has to come from some source, and it's definitely not going much from Earth. And if it was, I mean, it's definitely reflecting the sun, the sun's. Earth is definitely reflecting sunlight, right? But it just, it would bounce off of that, and then you can see it in the night sky when, something goes, or that's most of the light there is from the sun. So sun must be somewhere at an angle where all of these, right here and right here, so along here somewhere, along this line, boom, let me stop it. Along this line, right, you can see basically a cluster of those here and a cluster of those here, right? And they both reflect light. So it is, both of them are catching some sunlight and probably moonlight. But mostly, I would guess sunlight, right? And they are reflecting it back to the camera for us to see. Isn't that beautiful? And in the middle here, you can also see this little dot there. That doesn't really change much. And I would guess that it might actually be the moon reflected off of the atmosphere of Earth. So moon would be behind somewhere, them going basically from the Earth from this direction, boom, like that. And the moon is behind, and the sun is somewhere on this side at an angle. Sun, baby. La 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 la. Easy. Smiley face. Somewhere there. All right. So this is what I would presume is happening here. Cool, right? I mean, just look at it. If you look at this, I think this is probably the most beautiful set of pictures that was captured during the Artemis flight. And all because of this guy. Who's that guy? Who's this guy? Responsibility number 2097. 2097. Responsibility number 2097. That dude created this. An absolute masterpiece from the Artemis mission. Because as you can see, this is not just a static image, right? Like, we've seen images like this, statically, nicely, full HD, fucking 4K, nice colors, everything, even from the Apollo missions. But we've never seen Earth time-lapsed like this, with so many stuff happening at the same time. The aurora, the thunder here on the right side, and the satellites. And at the same time, you also see how the crew is curving and moving away from Earth, as you can see the stars changing their angle with respect to the Earth, and the Earth slightly moving. Of course, it's a composite image, right? They took bunch of, that's an understatement, 12,000 plus images of the Earth. And this is a composite, right, of that. So this is what it was like for them to travel for 3 minutes from Earth. For just 3 minutes. I mean, it's so much things happening, like aurora, thunderstorm, satellites, the combined movement, the greens, the deserts, the blue marble. Everything is so beautiful. It feels alive. And so, for me, this piece of media that was created by that mission is what tops off anything captured by Apollo missions prior to this. Because never ever have we seen something so alive around Earth. This is just beautiful. This gives me some hope. We are all interconnected. All these satellites, they give some kind of, support for the ground, for the people to transfer information. All of these things happening at the same time all around the globe. And all the wars and everything that is happening on the ground seems so fucking minuscule. So petty. All the bullshit, political shit that is happening in the world today, and was happening up until now, all of that pales so much compared to this little sequence of photos. I'm just going to leave it at that, all right? Boom. My analysis. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And yeah, I wanted to share this because I've seen it on the internet. People were talking about it. Hank Green made a video about it. So yeah. This is beautiful, dude. Anyway, I even saved it. I even saved it. So nice. The thing is that these things, the satellites, they would be back then, for the crew, it would be completely invisible, right? Because all of these photos that were taken, you know, were taken with high exposure. That's why you see all the graininess here. That's why you can see the stars simultaneously with the Earth. And also this little blob here, which I believe is Venus. I might be mistaken, but I would expect that to be Venus. Yeah. Whatever. Some kind of a planet here. Probably Venus. Now, for the astronauts on board Artemis, this would be completely invisible. Because a human eye cannot see from this far that much, You need high exposition for that. So I don't think they saw any of that. Dude. Beautiful. Anyway, I am ready to do some Apex Legends now, to chill out for a bit. Then we can look into some other things if we have some spare time. I'm just gonna update the name. No. Ah, here. Dude, I just yo, bro. Apex Legends. Do you think we will at some point colonize Milky Way? If we establish a network of senders and receivers, at least AI could travel this way. Alright. Do you think we will ever at some point colonize the Milky Way? We would have to, stop all of this petty thing. All of these petty things that are happening on the surface. We would have to stop all of this political bullshit. We would have to unite and put a lot of resources, time, and effort into doing so. Of course, what I can imagine is, taking probes at first and colonizing it with all of that, right? But it would have to be really automated. I believe the internet, etc., is a way of political unification, just very slow. I don't know. As of now, the internet is filled with bubbles. It's filled with bubbles of people, echo chambers where you say something and everybody agrees, like, oh, yeah, you are right, dude. I thought the same, And then you have other people who just come into these echo chambers and they start bitching, like, yo, I got rage baited, and then therefore I'm just gonna like yell at you and be like that, towards you and everybody else. So I think as of now, the internet is filled with bubbles and echo chambers. And that is a big mistake for a political unification or any unification as you are mentioning it, right? And I think the reason behind it is also the algorithms. because you have algorithms that go and they promote, the content to the very same or really similar group of people, right? Like, oh yeah, you make this type of content, and we have a trained AI that decides where to push it. Just like, okay, this guy liked your video and he watched it a lot, so let me recommend it to 10 other people who are having similar viewer behavior like him, because they are most likely gonna behave in a very similar way. So it's economically viable for us to do so, right? And then all of these algorithms, they just do that, and until they create just a self-sustained bubble. Each YouTube channel, even mine, is becoming a echo chamber in one way or another. My YouTube channel is small right now. Okay, I'm trying to grow it. I'm trying, but I can, as any other creator, I cannot expect that to be, something of like a very, like a composite of very different groups of people. I cannot. Only some very like general things can be like that. Let's say you look at, I don't know, let's say you look at some general people that do some like comedy content or whatever. What's up, brother? How are you, bro? How are you? Thanks for coming by. That's nice. And you're on YouTube. That's actually the first comment on YouTube in the chat. That's interesting. It works. I can see YouTube there. Okay, so before the internet, each village or nation had some lunatics. Now those lunatics can unite in a bubble or echo chamber, but it's also a unification across old borders. So I'd say the echo chamber is a bridge between the old world, like-minded people couldn't unite at all, and the new world, where we have to tear down walls of the echo chambers. Yeah, I think you're right. Like these back then, the echo chambers and the bubbles were like this big. This big? All right. And these days, the echo chambers are like this big. That's right. But I agree. And as much as I would love to agree with you, and I hope you're right. I hope you're right that the internet one day will unify humanity more than ever so far. I genuinely hope so, because that's what we as humanity need. We need more hope. We need more, nice things in the world. And I don't want to sound like a, everything's sunny kind of dude, but, I would love that. I would love more good in the world. But the thing is that, a lot of the times, we don't see that, unfortunately, in today's society. Maybe not the internet alone, but it's a brick. I agree. I agree. I definitely agree with that. Yeah. The thing is that, as I've said, the old internet was better in a sense that all kinds of people could, mix. Of course, it was less populated by people, but it was less controlled by the corporations, right? And these corporations, they create bubbles, as I've said, and those bubbles are created naturally by the algorithm, because it just is a machine that is trying to maximize the attention span, the retention, and the, not necessarily attention span, okay? All right. But like attention given to the platform itself, basically, right? And you do that easily by saying, okay, pattern recognition. There is a person here who has some interest. He likes your YouTube channel. Okay, let me recommend it to 4 more. Boom. Let me create a little bubble, test it, and then it grows into maybe one day into like hundreds of thousands or even millions of people. You can see that, right? But then it's kind of locked, right? You hit your ceiling. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. Interesting thoughts. Let me hop on the Apex though. Let me hop on that. Let me try. We've been yapping for 2 hours. 2 good hours, dude. I had a hard time starting a little bit because I have kind of a vague plan today. But I've shown some things that I wanted. Yo, one thing before we do anything. I had one experience like today. All right? So yesterday I had a baguette, right? And that baguette, like a sandwich with some pulled beef and a little bit of like spicy gravy inside and stuff like that. So I had that. All right. Sandwich, a little spicy, yummy as fuck. I ate it, and today in the morning, you know, I was like, yeah, my stomach kind of hurts. So I went to the toilet and I Wah! Exactly. That was me. All right. And then I felt it. It was burning as hell, dude. And my mind was wondering. I just can't help myself but to wonder. Is there any evolutionary advantage for our anus to be able to sense spicy? Is there any evolutionary advantage to it? Please show me. Is there any evolutionary advantage for our anus to sense spicy? The anus doesn't have specific spicy receptors. Rather, it possesses TRPV1 pain receptor that detects heat, inflammation, and irritants. The burning sensation is a byproduct of these nerves, which are designed to protect the body, flagging abrasive or irritating substances for rapid expulsion. Irritant detection. Capsaicin, the chemical in chili peppers, triggers the TRPV1 receptors, which are part of the body's warning system, signaling pain from extreme heat or damage. Protection against pathogens. The nerves at the end of the digestive tract help identify when potentially irritating foods, which might be contaminated with microbes or toxins, needs to be eliminated swiftly. All right. So it has some evolutionary advantage. I was wondering. I was just like, that was the first thought that came to my mind. Like, okay, why is my anus just so burning? I was like, okay, not that it wouldn't happen ever in my life, but I was like, just wondering, like, does that have any evolutionary advantage? Like, unified side effect. The pain experience down there is likely a byproduct rather than specifically selected trait. The human body has no evolutionary incentive to remove heat receptors from the... Okay, all right, so it doesn't have any evolutionary push to get rid of it, so it stayed because it's the same neurons that are used elsewhere in the body. So it seems like a byproduct rather than anything else. All right. So a byproduct. Oh, Reddit. Wait a second. Okay, there is no explicit thing. Is there any evolutionary advantage to our butthole being able to feel spiciness? Why on earth can our buttholes taste spiciness? What's the point of that? Is this something that helped with survival before? Edit. Guys, it's burning again. I can't seem to learn. All right, bruh. So we didn't really evolve around capsaicin, the spicy chemical. Capsaicin was evolved around dealing with mammals. Whoa, interesting insights. Mammals tend to chew up things like fruits. Peppers are fruits, so the seeds are less often viable. Also, we aren't that mobile compared to birds, so some plants want mammals to not mess with them. Capsaicin turned out to be a chemical that fools mammals' pain receptors. It's not just the butthole and mouth that is sensitive. It's all mucous membrane or thin tissue. Don't touch your genitals after cutting up super spicy peppers. Speaking from experience, dude, or? Thicker parts of the skin don't burn because the top layer of skin is a protective barrier of dead skin cells. Now, why so many humans like spicy food even when it is designed to be something we hate is a more complicated and potentially debatable question. I think it has to do with the thing that is like similar to the experiment that was done in, like a psychological experiment done in, I think it was like prison cells or something like that. Basically, a confined person sitting in a in a room with nothing but basically a little buzzer that if you touched it, it gave you an electrical shock, which just hurt your finger. Nothing like life-threatening, but it was basically triggering the pain receptors, and it was like hurting like hell on your finger, but nothing more harmful, right? And it turns out that people, rather than sitting there for like, I don't know, 10 hours doing nothing, they would just from time to time just like press the button. Ah! Boom. Done that, right? And they've been doing it just so they can like pass the boredom, have some sensation, some sensory input. So my theory of this would be that basically you are getting a kick out of it, right? It triggers some novelty. It triggers it kills boredom. It makes the food less boring. And so maybe some cultures didn't have much of other things, to make themselves, amused with. And so they were like, okay, let me spice it up, because that food will taste interesting. It will taste different than the one without it. And so I would guess that it's just like this kind of a, sensory, I don't know, some kind of a, basically like, is it even related to like dopamine hit? Maybe you get a dopamine hit like that, right? As we speak, your body releases dopamine as a response to the pain. The more capsaicin you can tolerate, the more of dopamine response you can weasel out of your stingy brain. So, all right. So I was right. All right. So, yeah. I mean, as long as this person is right. Flash Medallion. Thank you. Flash Medallion, thank you. So, Yeah, that makes sense. It triggers a dopamine release. It's the same thing as with the psychological boredom, in a confined space where people were pressing the electrical buttons just to, shock themselves and have at least some dopamine hit to kill the boredom. So that's basically very similar. So you're telling me there is a level of masochism to enjoying spicy foods. Good to know. I mean, it makes sense, right? Masochism is basically the enjoyment of pain. So if a spicy food induces pain and you enjoy it, you're a masochist to a certain degree, right? Stomp my cubes. Stomp on my cubes, Ghost Pepper Daddy. Alright, bro. What are you doing, Step Pepper? I've never been so repulsed by a comment I completely agree with. So thanks, but also what the fuck? Replying to this. That would be a phenomenal porn name. Jesus. Yep. Dopamine is how your body tells you, hey, that was good for us. We should do this again sometime. When your body releases dopamine, it in response to something, it's a reward to your subconscious. Your brain likes it, your body likes it, and everyone is happy. That's cool. So if you really like spicy foods, your subconscious is going, holy fuck, this hurts so bad, but it's so good. That's cool. That's cool. You guys getting dopamine? Christ in ADHD. Yo. I might have some. Let me go for the Apex. After World War II, we came together in United Nations, globalization, etc. But it wasn't enough. Maybe the level of suffering has to increase a bit more before we realize it. Plus, I believe technological progress drive society's change. AI may enable a post-capitalist world of abundance as long as we make the right decisions. As long as we make the right decisions. Well said. I mean, yeah. What I don't like about it is that a lot of the corporates own all of these. So I kind of hope for one of two things. Either AI democratization in way that was done before by, for example, DeepSeek, where they model distilled the GPT, the most advanced one, and made it lightweight and faster and la da 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 da. Either that, so that people can have it and not and being able to basically run the inference on a decent sized computer that is still affordable to at least a middle class person. So for example, imagine what PewDiePie did, right? He's not a middle class person. He's a person who has plenty of fucking money. He's a millionaire. But the computer that he built is not that big, right? He has maybe 10 GPUs, but let's say you would need 5 or something to run your inference on. PewDiePie. Computer. Yeah. He has modded GPUs here in a rack and runs it basically to run his own models and stuff. And he did some videos on it. They're pretty interesting, right? But I'm just saying, if in the future you are able to, as a middle class person, still afford, a thing like this, where you just run a bunch of GPUs and you make an inference at home for yourself, in which sense, the AI would be democratized. I can see that as like one of the positive features, because then it basically strips away um, the power off of the corporations that run the inference and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be paywalled, it wouldn't be curated by them, it wouldn't be used by them to manipulate much, because everybody would have it at their disposal, not just a selected few people. Or the second option is that the AI plateaus, and what we have right now is the maximum that is done by LLMs, and therefore their business just crumbles into shit. Because I hate corporations like that. That is just despicable. Anyway, I don't want to end on anything really negative here before we start doing any gaming. But yeah, question is, can the super rich and tech bros remain their elite privilege status in society when we have full AI penetration? AI could run and govern our societies less corrupt and with a higher transparency. Why should the poor masses accept this injustice? Yeah, that's a good question. But yeah, the thing is, the AI is trained on people. All right, it's trained on people. So the corruption and lying and stuff like that, you can already see it. There are studies by MIT and Caltech, independent of these industries, by the big corps, and they found out that the AI, manipulates and lies a lot, even on a test benchmarks. They even found new benchmarks that none of the current LLMs can do more than 0% on. All right. And there was even a study that found, I think it was done by MIT like a few months ago. It was released and peer reviewed, that they found that one of the biggest like tests that are running on like how good the AI is, it's running to, or they are the big corporations are running the AIs through those, right? Through those tests, they found that the AI is capable of basically it has like in its training set a certain thing from a GitHub. Basically, it was trained on a GitHub as well as on other parts of the internet, and it pulled basically a trick that was capable of bypassing the answer of the test. So even though the AI would perform basically 20% or whatever, or 0%, it always did like almost 100. Like, okay, switch it. They found like the switch basically without doing the task itself. They found glitches like this, which, I mean, that doesn't mean that the AI is conscious or intelligent or whatever. It's just part of the training set. And if it's trying to do as low effort as possible, this is the way to say thumbs up on a test, basically. So they found a bunch of things, and a lot of things are resurfacing now, and the AIs, like, where was the last time that you saw an AI, like a new GPT, and you or something, and you were like, wow, it did something that the previous fucking 3 versions did not do, like, it's, I work with it every day, and it some of the models are even getting worse. You know, there is a big hype from the tech bros, like, oh, look at it, we have new version, new that, new this, and then you use it and you're like, yeah, it's just the same as before, maybe more expensive to run. Thank you. We basically are reaching, or the corporations are reaching, the limits of the available data that they can feed into the models for training. And so this part of the training is basically plateaued, or plateauing as of now. And unless some drastic shift happens in the development of these things, like the architecture itself, with these LLMs that we have right now, as they work currently, it's not profitable. It's not going to be feasible. It's you know. And if you want to like feed in, like, okay, you can say, oh yeah, they are generating new data, right? So let's feed the new data in. That degenerates the model, because you are basically doing an incest, informational incest. That's what you're doing, right? You're just like refeeding it with things. So, and the information quality then degrades and stuff like that. The thing is that as of now, I think of the AI as a low resolution internet. All right? It has everything in it, sort of, and it gives out probabilistic answers, predicting next tokens. It's a next token predictor. Fancy autocomplete. Or a low resolution internet. If you can think of analogies from the past that are less impressive in terms of what it looks like on a surface, but it did basically very similar stuff mathematically in like a conceptual way. Like, for example, data compression. You can still get an image that is like super tiny in information content, and you can send it to someone, in a compressed form. And that's nice, but a lot of the information is smeared out, right? But you as a human, you look at the image on the screen and you're like, oh yeah, it looks the same, right? Well, do the compression, I don't know, millions and millions and billions of times on the same file, and you will see some difference from the previous one, And so you're losing some information here and there. And so I tend to look at these things as like a low resolution body of knowledge of the humanity, or a low resolution internet, basically, if we assume that internet ultimately has access to every single piece of information that the humans have, or humanity has. And so, yeah, if you think about it this way, it's a low resolution internet, and it gives probabilistic answers. So that therefore the hallucinations are there by default. Lying is there by default. Yeah. I agree. LLMs have reached a limit. I think the next huge leap will be LLMs inside a well-trained robot, flooding our cities and homes with robots. But like, can it run on an LLM? They tried things like that. It doesn't work. That's the thing. The thing is, yeah. Even the bots that we've seen, the Tesla bots and stuff like that, those were fake. They have some construction, and there were plenty of videos where you can clearly see that those robots were remotely controlled by a human. Look. Tesla bots fail. This one.
Oh.
I showed it like a few months ago on this channel. But like, that's it. Look. It basically, look at these hands. Alright? Oh. Look at these hands. And the head. Alright? Look at it. Yo, where is my mouse?
Oh.
There is clearly a person behind it who, like, somewhere remotely in a booth or something. Somebody wanted to talk to him or whatever. He pulled out the glasses, thinking that the bot would just stay and not move. And the bot did this, like, okay, and fell over. And Musk is going around like telling, oh yeah, this is AI, dude. Like we have AI running it. I mean, everything is like that, you know? Like, sure, buddy. Just to make the investors happy and keep them in line. Yeah. The LLMs are incapable of these things. They even tried it in some models. And it's not so lightweight. That's one thing. And the other thing is that language models are not suited for these types of tasks. We as human beings are also like basically next token predictors in some sense, you know, like it's part of our intelligence, not so efficiently or not so brute forcefully good as the LLMs as of now, but we also do that, right? But we have also different types of intelligence or different types of ways of the intelligence manifesting, right? And like for example, like you can imagine things in your head like pictures and not like words, right? Or some people can, some people cannot, you know, more thinking in abstractions without words, another thing, right? The AI needs to work with words as of now. That's their limitations. Also, we are really like visual and we have all kinds of senses, you know, like hearing, touch, you know, smell, visuals, everything, you know, and orienting around a house is super hard for a robot. Even these days with all of this. Even if you give it a camera, give it a this, a that, you know, like advanced features of mechanics here, boom. Some sensors and whatever doesn't help. So I've seen some, I think it was again MIT or something like this. They've been doing some robotics and some new types of AI that do like object oriented or visual oriented robot, right? And it could sort of detect more easily things and do certain tasks, but really clumsy and really like very specific, and it wasn't really, it's in its diapers. Of course there could be like different types of AI like that, but I don't think it's going to be the LLMs at all. Not what we have right now. What's my take on quantum computers? Yeah, I hope they will be actually useful, but it's really hard. And the thing is that quantum computing is really fiddly, right? The biggest issue for you today is that all of these computers that somehow work, they have some like Google Google quantum computing and all kinds of other things. I think there is also, it's not MSI, what is it? Intel probably has something. It's not AMD. They made computers before. Quantum computing, dude. IBM. So IBM has some advanced stuff and Google has some advanced stuff, but everything like that has to be like, if you want to, let's say you have some working computer, quantum computer with some capabilities of today. Okay, fine. You have to have a professional that sets up the computer tediously before any calculation. Then the calculation is being done. It's fucking hard because of decoherence and stuff like this. So the qubits themselves, they are really fiddly. So you have to have them isolated, really low temperature. And so if you ever make it work, as of now, it doesn't really work in a sense that it solves any meaningful problems, and it doesn't really solve any problems that cannot be solved by regular classical silicon computers, right? The thing is that if you ever reach a quantum computer that is like physically viable and it's like engineering wise like finished and actually working, it will be for totally different tasks. Maybe some things like you were saying, like protein folding, simulating cell behavior, whatever, could be for medical fields and all kinds of complicated stuff. It could be. But the thing is that there are proven things that are with current algorithms more easily computed on a classical silicon computer than on a quantum computer. So I see quantum computers as not a replacement of the standard computing, but as a complementary thing, and mostly for the computer clusters. So I tend to work on computer clusters sometimes, as I do some computational physics and computational statistical physics and stuff like that. And you work with regular GPUs, CPUs, and those are giant arrays, you know, of things like that. You know, you've probably seen some recs like supercomputer. These whole computers. So I tend to work sometimes on these. I even worked on them physically, like replacing some parts with some of my colleagues just for fun, just to help them out, but not to actually do anything tremendous, just to help out. But usually I'm operating some of those. Sometimes. Usually my work doesn't involve that much computation, and I can do most of my math and physics on my laptop, for example, or just a single GPU on a regular PC. But if you need something more complicated, then you can use multiple GPUs, CPUs, and stuff like that, as like giant arrays of things, like this. And so what I can see, and based on what I know from my experience and based on like conversations with my colleagues that actually work and maintain these things, they work on these things, maintain these things, you know, like more like technicians and computer scientists than me. And I can see that this type of computation, like the quantum computing, will be complementary to classical computing. So imagine that you would have a classical supercomputer center like this, or even modernized. I don't know how old is this one, but let's say you have something like this that would take care of a lot of the traditional tasks. And then some parts of the calculations would be offloaded to a quantum computer where they could be where the problem could be crunched on much easily than on the classical computer, or not even much easily, but it would be impossible to do on the classical computer. So I can see that to be the case, right? Like using standard classical computers, quantum computers on the side, and the big data center, right? Like imagine I can use this. That's nice. No. So classical computer, data center. Boom. Super. Computer. All right. Supercomputer. And this one has these racks. This is a top view. Top view. All right. Top view. Top. All right. These ones work. They connect. Boom. And then you would have a quantum computer of some sort. Boom. Quantum. Computer. All right? Quantum computer. And you would offload some of the things here. Offload some of the hard tasks, and then you would feed it back to be slammed together. And then, boom, you would have task done. Easy. Boom. So that's what I see quantum computing as we see it right now. Still having a typical supercomputer, the typical classical silicon one, doing a lot of the job that is already being done with some enhanced, algorithms, with some enhanced, even like infrastructure, like physical one, right? Offloading things that are inaccessible through classical computing to a quantum computer and feeding it, which would feed the results back here or here or question mark, until the task is done. So it might solve some issues that are currently unsolvable in let's say, computational physics or computational chemistry or whatever, material science or medicine. You're right. That might actually happen. That is cool. But the thing is that this part, baby, is hard. Like fucking hard, bro. The thing is that it's fiddly. Any little thingy around can decohere all the qubits here. You have qubits, arrays of qubits, and they can decohere easily. So that's why you have it so, like, tremendously cooled down, isolated as much as possible. And even at that, they're having a hard time even running, something meaningful these days. But it's speeding up. They're moving somewhere. But yeah, They have been promising things like this for a few decades, you know? So, might take another few decades, or maybe 100 years or something. Who knows? Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's the hope, you know? I mean, that's the hope. It's a cool summary, but it's really like. The thing is, they're like the summary about the Gemini says like, oh, quantum computers are uniquely suited, like thick 7, you know, like. Dude, the thing is that, you know, these we haven't found anything so far that a current quantum computer could solve that the current supercomputers, these supercomputers that are classical, you know, silicon based, that wouldn't be able to solve. You know, there has been no meaningful application of the current quantum computers. So that's the biggest challenge so far, you know. Anyway, let me pee. I'm gonna bring some more water, and I'm gonna finally play the Ape Sex Legends for a little bit. Be right back, too, baby. La la la. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh my goodness. Chat.
What makes a legend?
What makes a
It's not the grandstanding,
I want to
trophies,
see the
the
Lord.
flashy
Dude.
smiles. Nah,
Overcooked. Overclocked. Overclogged. Dude, I need to wind down a little bit from this Japanese. It was cool. It was freaking cool. We started a little bit slow, but then we spiraled. I'm gonna play a little bit. Yo, stop blinking! We might have some sensitive individuals in the stream, dude. What are you doing? Oh yeah, I preloading shaders, dude. I'm gonna preload you. I just downloaded the game again. I basically uninstalled the game. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna play this. You know, and then.
what makes a legend?
What makes a legend? Bro, show me here. That's not her. Alright. That's her. Okay, acknowledge. Acknowledge, my bro. Video, audio. Masturbator volume. Boom. Full screen. Borderless window. Everything ultra. Good? Good? Was? I don't want a limiter. Okay. Show me. Cyber Racer. Chrome plating. White out. Oh, that's nice. That looks cool. That looks very similar. But that one, whoa, right. All right. Aura. Oh my last rank is trash. What the? Birthday. Good. Key to riches. Key to bitches.
Nice.
Fist. Good. Oh my god. Good. Thank you for stopping, dude. Hopefully I catch you another time. If you're interested in some videos, I have some on YouTube, so check it out. And thank you again for the follow and for staying here. It was awesome. Thanks for the convo. See you around. Foreign range. Open the pack first. Errum. Okay. They fucked us in the ass. I have nothing and I don't want to hear that. Not now, bruh. Woo! Whoa! Red line. Bruh. That's cool. Not bad. The hair, though, I mean... Cool, cool, cool. I thought she would have the cape off. But this looks cool! Okay. Eh! Ew! Those are some cool ass skins. Alright. Alright. You came up with some topics, but is there any topic that's fascinating you the most? Where do you see most promising progress in the next 5 years? That's a tough one, because a lot of fields are moving, you know. So biotech is moving as crazy with medicinal applications and stuff like that. That's also, yeah. I mean, obviously computation is moving pretty fast, right? Personally, you know, I'm personally interested most in like statistical physics, and Bayesian statistics. That's what I do. But that's sort of a against the grain type of approach, because a lot of people just use, because Bayesian statistics is also used as a machine learning tool, basically. A lot of the times. And it's sort of an uphill battle, because this type of approach is more accurate, rigorous statistically and mathematically. But at the same time, it's computationally quite expensive. And so people leaned towards neural networks. And so personally, I don't like those ways that the field is evolving currently. I don't like the inaccuracies and the lack of they're not caring about what's true, what's not, what's the uncertainty and things and stuff like that. The Bayesian statistics inherently treats that. That's why I love it. Okay, I just came across that during my PhD now, and that's what I focus on. These types of things, but it's very niche these days. It might be promising for some, security things, or security like information security or information correctness, or how to put it, quantifying the uncertainty in the responses and quantifying the uncertainty in your results in physics and all kinds of fields. So I care about the concept of truth. Yes, that's what I care about. And how to quantify how wrong you are. That's what I care about the most right now. How do you quantify how wrong somebody is, or some calculation is, or some experiment is, or something like this? That's what I care about the most as of now. Because it's heavily underrated, especially in theory and computation. In experiments, people try to do some things with it, but not that much. Not in like super rigorous ways, but they at least try. And I am interested in the rigorous ways of treating, models and how they, like, the data model and truth mismatch, basically. Because there is some underlying truth, and as we discussed before, I highly doubt that we will ever get to the true ground truth with zero uncertainty, or with zero uncertainty. And I care about like how basically you can do this uncertainty quantified as rigorously as possible in general. And I tend to be a physicist, so I care about some physics applications. That's my sort of niche and way of dealing with science these days, right? That's the topic of my thesis, basically, revolving around these things. But I think there are plenty of promising fields, not only AI or not only statistics as I do, but also in medicine, in biotech, chemistry. Pretty much anything is moving. You just have to find something that interests you the most. Otherwise, you will not care. You would not be like, okay, this is super dope, super fancy, super relevant. Like, okay, but do you care about it personally? And that's how I tend to think about that. So I wouldn't focus on like most promising things. If you're searching for something, pick whatever you care about. And if you don't care about anything specific, just search for some popular things, unpopular things, and, you know, trying to find something that you agree with or that you would like to see in the world yourself. That's what I would recommend. If that's what you're looking for here with this question. You know? Because that's what makes you and that's what makes your life. And none of us will single-handedly save the world. I used to think, you know, like when I was younger, like a teenager, I was like, yeah, I'm going into science because I love science and I'm interested in science, but I also was like, yeah, I want to be this dude who saves aging, or I want to be this dude who discovers the theory of everything, and I'm gonna be, you know, a big one in that, and you might be one day, but in completely different things than you previously thought, you know, because the life and the science journey will lead you to wherever, you know, wherever the universe wants, let's say it this way. You never know what you'll stumble upon. I wouldn't have stumbled upon this uncertainty thing unless I would join this specific research group I'm in. And if I wouldn't have met my colleague that I collaborate with right now. But I still care about these things, and I had it in me in one way or another. It just clicked with me once I saw it. The world really needs some kind of healing. We have to heal our relationships and stuff. That's a deep one. And I think you're right. Every one of us needs some healing. And I was mentioning it previously at the beginning of the stream, just to, you know, put something out there and also be honest about things. Because that's what I want this stream and my content, not only on Twitch, but also on YouTube to be. I want to be honest about my opinions, about my, you know, points of views, about facts, about science, about, you know, with my humor, with anything, you know. And one of the things that I'm dealing with right now is stress. A lot of stress. A lot of chronic stress, because I tend to do quite stressful work, science and PhD, and at the same time I'm trying to make it work here on social media, which is fucking hard, but it's one of my biggest dreams ever, to be able to make a living out of this, you know. Sharing interesting stories with people, making people laugh, making connections, and maybe add some healing to it along the way. So yeah, personally, I deal with chronic stress these days, and that's hard. Honestly, a pillar for healing. Without assessing the status quo, we cannot move forward. That's true. That is true. That's nice. Oh, yeah. That was a little bit of a...
No skin. Get it. I have.
Deep conversation, but that's needed sometimes. You know, because we are just humans and... we should be connecting, especially in this time of our world today. And don't take ourselves too seriously. That's why I like to joke around a lot and sometimes do some over-the-top things here on stream, but there is a time and place for everything like that. You know. It has to come out naturally. I still have it in me. Look at it a little bit. Alright, what is up with this one?
This will kickstart something interesting.
Aha! That's the ultimate. Alright. So it searches for the nearby enemy. It hits them. It lifts them. And that's it.
Put the nitro gate down. Speed up.
What the? Yo! See you later, dude, and thanks for stopping by. Have a nice rest of the evening, or wherever you're from. Have a nice rest of the day. Much love. Germany! German friend! Czechia. Pretty close. Over in Czechia, dude.
So slow. Use this nitro gate.
This is cool. Look at it. Oh god. We are neighbors. Yes, sir. We are neighbors. Look at this, baby. So, Cetterino. Let me see what's up with this baby.
Leveled up. An upgrade will give me the edge.
Yeah. Edge me, baby. Yep. Show me. Okay, my aim is terrible.
Put the nitro gate down. Speed up. Let's start this. Find a high here.
Ooh. That's harsh, dude.
I'm out of light ammo.
Alright. Return to lobby. See ya, brother. What do you play it on? Olympus wildcard. Olympus. Lava Siphon. Kings Canyon. Let me just do wildcard. We just want to chill out a little bit. Right? Right, chat? After our Japanese session. Oh, yeah. It's already dark. Getting dark. I'm gonna have to make myself a dinner soon. Oh, we can all play the same character here. That's also nice because you can test out the characters in game. In action.
Don't hold back. Earn your scars.
Ew, yeah.
Alles oder nichts.
That's me. That's me, mama. I'm famous.
Alright, either you're with me or you're against me, or you're with me and against me, because, I'll be honest, that happens.
I don't know, dude. Where are we going?
Ah! Yelling is good for
Which is my-
focus.
No. No. Oh. I have it bound on T. Yo, guys.
Enemy landed by me. One of us will
Oh, no, buddy. There are people.
do not stop. Use this nitro gauge.
People behind us. Yikes. Bro, give me. Oh, no. I need a weapon.
We're out. I'm down. Repeat. I am down.
This game really
Happens.
is a death sentence. For you.
Death sentence.
Reviving myself. Grenade. Okay.
You
In
right?
my personal bubble.
Just us two.
Oh, yikes.
Slight detour. Going back.
Bro, everything is looted.
Bam! Hey now, another squad. Bad news, I'm down.
Enemy shield is kaput.
Wait, where?
Enemy shield is kaput. I'm down.
Oh no, bro.
I am down.
So slow. Use sniper gate. Get done.
Yo, I got sniped through the whole map. Like, no.
But I'm back. I mean,
I'm not gonna put up with
Definitely
this.
didn't get killed.
We've got
Been here
another
the
squad
whole
coming.
time. All right, let's do this.
I'm down. Repeat. I am down.
Nobody to love. Nobody. Nobody.
Opponent wiped out.
Not bad.
What the?
Getting shot at. Enemy shield cracked.
This will kickstart something interesting.
All right, enemy down.
Down.
I took care of it, don't worry.
Attention. There is a new kill leader.
Put a knife gate down.
Papito.
Enemy shield is kaput.
Fair effort, mate. Next round's on me.
My god, bruh.
Okay, I'm getting shot at. Refueling my shields.
Papito is not really reviving us. Doesn't care.
Time for a break? Spaß.
Slight
I'm
detour.
the decoy.
But I'm back.
Wait, how do I know that I'm not the decoy? This is dream within a dream stuff.
They're shooting at me. I'm down. Repeat, I am
Attention.
down.
There is a new kill leader.
Fired. Now I'm taking some damage.
Just us two. I'm alone
Bad
now.
news, I'm down.
Fine. I will handle the enemies myself.
Yo.
Back on Überhof.
Uh-huh, honey. Uh-huh, honey. What the?
Back in the race. Just needed a quick cleanup.
What?
I'm back.
With a knife getting shot at.
Where is he?
Competitor down. Und tschüss. Took out a competitor. Refueling
Yo,
my
am
shield.
I?
Do not stop. Use this nitro gate.
Let's kickstart this fight.
Am I just blind?
Enemy shield is another squad. I'm down. Repeat, I am down.
Good.
There's enemies. Way too
Good,
high.
baby.
Raising a nitro gate. We will not let off the gas.
Where? Where?
You have to survive to get to the after party. That gets up.
After party?
Refueling my shields.
I would low-key go in a party. Party, party, yeah. Yo, you were really focusing on me?
Competitor down. Und tschüss. Charging shields.
I can respawn.
Loading. Overtook another enemy.
Attention. The kill leader has
shot
been
at.
eliminated.
Enemy killed. Fuck.
I'm alone now.
I'm down.
Fine. I will handle the enemies myself.
Kill leader couldn't keep up with us. Kill leader, Geschichte.
Oh, no.
We're already in the next ring. Don't get comfortable.
Next ring?
Guys, win us strong.
Okay, just me left.
I would play Path of Exile. I saw the Path of Exile 2 update.
You have to survive to get to the
It looks
That
amazing.
gets up. They're shooting at me.
You thought. You thought.
That way.
Raising a nitro gate. We will not
That's wild. even as a person who's down, you can do this? That's OP. Insane.
Getting shot at. Airstrike coming in. All right.
So everybody is on this compound. That's it.
I think this place needs a little more me. Dudes to the rescue. Recharging. Up down.
Slight detour, but I'm back.
Axel doesn't leave a competition until she's won.
New kill leader appointed.
Smash an opponent's shield.
Attention. The kill leader has been eliminated. Attention. There is a new kill leader.
That takes down. I am down.
I will handle the enemy myself.
Low. Activate.
Yo, that's OP. I mean, I cannot do anything there. But my brother told me that
Down to the
you can actually like go and play the old Kings Canyon, like the OG one. But I'm not sure about that.
Follow me, and we will honor this visit.
I haven't seen it. What the? Unless I'm blind as hell. I couldn't see anything like this. Ew. We living in a world of abundance.
Kill leader eliminated.
The world of abundance.
Card slot unlocked.
You
Visit a weapon
You-
hard to
Let's
close.
do this.
New kill leader appointed.
annoying as hell, bruh.
We've got another squad.
Attention.
Smash an opponent's shield.
Enemy stopped.
Yo, how often do I have the ulti?
Smash an opponent's shield.
Smash an
Repeat, I
opponent's
am
shield.
down.
Bam! There goes the boozle. Big blue booze.
New kill
Getting hurt over
leader
here.
appointed.
Big.
It's Dukes o'clock. Broken enemy shield.
Bruh.
Start shots fired.
Teammates are gone. I stand alone.
Oh,
Switching
bruh.
shields.
She's going with Sheila on me.
Just us two. Follow me, and we will honor this visit. Navigate. Give full gas.
Whoa,
I'm
bruh.
getting shot at. Slight detour.
Another squad is pushing it.
That's your game, bruh?
Repeat, I am
Enemy shield. Charging shields.
We can do this. Focus up, chat.
And I'm back. I never left. Definitely didn't get killed. Been here the whole time. All right, let's do this.
Shut up, Mirage.
back on the Bahorshqua.
All right, bam! There goes the boozle. Big blue booze. Shots fired. And they're hitting me.
Warning.
Somebody was shooting from here.
My shield to recharge.
I know that.
Already in the ring. Time I'm down.
Oh no. GG's. For a first match after what? Couple of months? Kinda good. Oh, boxes. No? Never mind. Never mind, I thought. No, there is... He was lying to me. Because this is not... This is just a regular Kings Canyon. No? Gun run. Yeah. Let's do that. There is no other Kings Canyon. That's not the OG. He was lying to me. Phantom Rush. Thank you for the follow on Kick. Good. Welcome to the chat. Baby. Baby. W. McMiller. Such a vibe every single time. Yo, more info? I want to see. Nice haircut. I like that. I don't play her at all, but that's just that's cheap, dude. We've seen plenty of skins like this. That's kind of cool. I like it.
Don't hold back. Earn your scars.
Yikes.
I don't push the envelope. I shred it.
Wanna fly? I make a great wingman.
Deja vu. Deja vu. All right. We lagging. I see. I see, baby.
A nitro gate. Gibt Vollgas.
Ale. Kurwa.
Axel doesn't leave a competition until she's won.
Whoa. I thought it would be better than that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm lacking hard. What the? You have to touch it? Thought it would be... Yo, can you just stop bullying me? Like, I start shooting someone and somebody else from different angle is like, nah. Yo, I cannot wallbang? Oh, wall... Okay. Where is you? What?
Refueling my shields. Let's kickstart this. Find a high gear.
Yo, I'm back. Can't trail your train.
So we camping. So we camping, bruh. He just spotted me first. It's unfair. My team is doing literally nothing. I'm getting... I mean, everybody's getting that, but those are the worst fucking weapons. I hit something!
Charging on my shields.
Yo, you gotta be kidding me.
Back in the race. Just needed a quick tune-up. Put a nitro gate down. Speed up.
Faster, faster, faster!
Bro! I'm out of it.
Let's kickstart this. Find a high gear.
Nice! Thank you!
Raising a nitro gate. We will not let off the gas.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Halfway to winning again.
I'm telling you, it's the fucking gun. What the? I mean, I got bombarded. I got molested.
Being downed is boring. I'm back. Must go faster.
Refueling my shields.
It doesn't shoot. They mod it. It no longer shoots like the shotgun on short range.
Nitro gate out.
Oh my god! That was a nice shot. Okay, I thought it was sicker than that. I thought it was right when I landed. Never mind. It was just a regular shot. What the? Wow. What a wasted ulti. Bruh. Horrible. I was horrible.
We have our Apex champions.
TDM? Alright. Alright. Oh, wait a second. Cancel. I want to see more of the Battle Bass. Battle Bass. Hmm. I mean, I guess. That's just cool, though. But I'm not so into the new character, to be honest. It's not so, like, hype. I mean, it's good, but I think there are still, like, better champions overall. You know? And we're looking at one. Unless they nerfed her. That looks sick. Can I craft it? No. But I can craft these? What is that? Why can I craft only the characters but not the guns? In what universe does that make any sense? Interesting. Alright, baby. I think this is it, chat. I don't want to play anymore. And we've kind of drained our balls with this. Japanese. And I think we got some nice things done. Oh my god, I'm gonna shit myself. Maybe. Good. Oh, chat. That was nice. Good. All right. I think this is it. Oh my god. Yo, dude. This is just so beautiful. Don't tell me it's not beautiful. This is so nice. It shows everything. It shows how everything here is alive, interconnected, and how it all makes kind of sense, you know, when you look at it from this perspective. And with the time scale also, you know, of everything moving quite fast. I like it. You know, this is probably my most favorite part of Artemis. In terms of like the pictures that they made and stuff. This is nice. Anyway, guys, I think this is actually it for today. I think if I... All right. You see how I am right now? Dude, I want to thank everyone who at least for a bit spent some time in the chat. Who was at least watching for a bit. Thanks for the new follows. Welcome to the community. I hope to see some of you again here on this channel and maybe even on my YouTube channel. So if you're new here, be sure to check out my YouTube channel because I have some interesting stuff there, at least I think. And there'll be more to come in the future. Yeah. Oh. Dude. I'm tired. Anyway, guys. I'm gonna try to do more of these, like, regular streams that I've been kind of avoiding these days due to various reasons. and some like consistent video making out of those VODs. I should do that because recently I've piled up so much VODs that I couldn't even go through them, and that kind of hindered everything. So I need to get on to the right pace with this. Anyway, I think this is actually it for today. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening or rest of your day, wherever you're from. And I'll see you guys pretty soon. So enjoy life. Don't take yourself too seriously, and yeah, it'll be alright. It will be alright, baby. See ya.